So let me tell you a quick story about this kid I met who was about to get arrested on a gun charge, but he was more afraid of like something else than actually going to jail. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about this kid that I met. He was about to get arrested for gun charges and everything, but as we were talking, he revealed to me his biggest fear wasn't even like going to jail and getting, you know, being somebody's lady. It was something completely different. So yeah, this dude, he was terrified of actually starting his own business, right? So long story short, he was into selling drugs and doing all that stuff, but he was terrified of starting his own business because he was a real fashionable guy, real nice clothes and everything. We were talking about it as he was sitting there on the floor handcuffed. And I was like, you know, why don't you sell clothes or something, design clothes? You really know the business, why not? He says, man, look, you know, like it's like if I fail, then like people gonna look at me like I'm a loser or something. And I was like, what? I was like, you about to go to jail on like 2 gun charges right now and a possible murder. And you're telling me the reason why you didn't start your own clothing business was because you're afraid of what people would think of you and you were afraid of failing? And he said, yeah. He essentially told me throughout this conversation, it was like a 10-minute conversation we were having, that the reason why he did not pursue his own business or anything and did the drug game was because fear of failure. He was afraid of starting something and failing at it. He had gunshot wounds. He'd been shot. But he wasn't afraid of like the dealing part. He was afraid of failing. Hey! He was so afraid of people thinking he was a loser that he would risk his life instead. So I'm telling you all this story because ever since he told me this and I talked to this kid about this, I was fascinated. Like he was probably like 24, 25, but I was just like, is that really how people feel? Like they're that afraid to do something that they'll risk their life for something else? Like I didn't get it. Like I didn't get it. He was so happy and so excited to have me check out his Instagram and see him holding stacks of cash and all this stuff. And he was afraid to just start a business. He was like, it's scary. It's scary to start a business because if you fail, people will think you're a loser. And I was like, dude, you about to go to jail. You could have avoided all of this. He's like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe, you know, maybe. He was so scared. He was such this little gangster kid. I'm not gonna keep saying kid. He's this little gangster guy, but he was terrified of just putting himself out there. So I'm telling you the story in hopes that you don't have a similar type of mindset going on, that you're afraid to start a business. Because my thing is, if you're afraid to start a business, I wouldn't start one. Because if you're afraid, you're not gonna make the proper decisions. You're gonna treat it as if it's something to avoid, right? Like the decisions you'll make will be more so you don't want to really leap to make that jump because you're afraid of what's going to happen. So if you're afraid, I wouldn't start a business, and at least not until you get that fear out of your heart. Because once you get that fear out, then you can start making those decisions where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna put down $2,000 to get this right here, get these ingredients, or get all these clothes I need, and I'm gonna sell it. You know, but if you're afraid, you're like, well, maybe I'll just put down 100 and see how it goes. And of course, you're making all these timid decisions. And I've been there. Trust me, I've been there, and I've made timid decisions. And I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to spend that much money on ingredients. I don't even know if it's going to take off like it's supposed to, right? So I'm sure if you saw the video from the other day, I had mounds of ingredients, like raw ingredients, like 30 pounds of each one. Because I was like, you know what? This is my business, and my business needs to have this. You know, because I know I'm going to sell it. So if you're going to do that, then be confident. If you're not confident about it, get confident, or just don't do it. But do you really want to work for somebody else your entire life? Or do you want to be afraid your entire life? No, you don't. Do what you got to do. Make it happen. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. Deuces. Oh. Have a beautiful day.